places you visited in the SEC, the other stadiums, what school has the worst visiting locker room?
Missouri.
Why? What about it?
It's hot. It's so hot. I guess that's the only reason why, because I just hate being hot. So
Okay.
ain't really much about it. Every visiting locker room ain't gonna be as good as the one you play in normally. So it's just the heat that I hate it.
Okay.
That's the hardest one you got.
Well, I just want to start, John.
I'm just joking.
Did you, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you.
Russell, do you guys think you have the best defensive line in the SEC right now?
Man, I think we have one of the most respectable defensive lines in the country. Actually, man, we put it together and we worked for it. So I just feel like we're in a position to be one of those top defensive lines at the end of the year.
Let me ask you this: you guys beat Alabama. You lost to Central Florida. Central Florida claimed they're the national champions based off that. Who do you think the national champion was last season?
Man, the thing for me is when I was a little kid, man, my dad always told me to take respect for the teams that beat you. UCF beat us, so I respect them for that. But man, it's hard to really give you an answer for that, honestly. You know what I mean? You have to respect the fact that Alabama won the playoff, but you also have to acknowledge the fact that UCF won all their games. And but it's just hard. It's a sticky topic to get into.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, that was hard.
Okay.
Dontavious, you being from Georgia, obviously you guys played them twice last year. What does that rivalry mean to you, obviously, as well as they did last year and that turnaround they had?
Man, that rivalry, it does mean a little more because I'm from Georgia, not necessarily because of the team, just because I have to live around Georgians, you know what I mean? It is what it is. And before I finally committed to Auburn, I had decided to go. I had committed to Georgia, so it does kind of mean a little bit when I do play them, but just more so from the fact that I'm from there and I have to live around Georgia people.
Why'd you back off your commitment?
Huh?
Why'd you back off the Georgia commitment?
Because I was young and I wanted to change my mind.
Glad you did.
Yeah, I'm overjoyed.
What kind of leader is Sean Davis on this team?
He exemplifies what you would look for in a leader. You know, he leads by example and also verbally, so you can't really knock him on anything he does as far as being a leader. You know, he provides a good example for the younger people, and yeah, he helps us.
The season right around the corner. Can you describe to us what the game day atmosphere is like at Auburn?
Man, the thing about it is it's going to change. We just got a new locker room, new recruiting area, all that different type of stuff. So it's actually going to change. But man, it's one of the best atmospheres I've seen in college football, and that's kind of another reason. Going back to his question, another reason why I flipped is being a part of that. And the games that I was able to visit. It's one of the best atmospheres I saw that matched me personally that I like.
Coach that matches you so personally?
Man, it's just the eagle flying, the authenticity of that they have going on. You know, before we had the huge board, it was just a regular stadium, and the only thing that was really separated from others was the fans itself. So just to really interact with those people and the way that they are, you know, I just like it.
Coach Malzahn talked about how hungry you guys are after last season, and considering y'all were so close to what could have been a very special season, how much of a motivator was last season and coming back strong this year?
Honestly, it's one of those things you got to put it behind you, you know, because our success from last year can't push us forward into the new season, as well as our pitfalls from that season can't harm us in this coming up season. So it's a situation where I always try to put the season behind us and move forward game by game. Kind of how I think.
You've got a lot of young studs on the defensive line, Nick Coe, Big Cat, TD Moultrie. Did they remind you of yourself when you first got there, and what are you kind of seeing out of them from spring camp going?
I mean, they don't really remind me of myself in the fact that we don't play the same position,
right.
They're very talented people. And something I said earlier today, I don't think it's a situation where those guys aren't starting because they don't have the ability. We just already have the people in position. So I just feel like they're really talented, and they just right now in their with their youth, they're just providing really good depth for us as a team.
How tough was that LSU game last year? How did y'all kind of respond? How did y'all bounce back from that?
Kind of what I just said about the season. The same way with seasons, the same way with games. You can't let it harm you moving forward, you know. So that was one of those games that we kind of let slip from our grasp. We were up at halftime, and after that game, we kind of went back to Coach Malzahn's first time coming back, going to the national championship and then losing to LSU. And it's one of the things that he hit on in the locker room. Like last time we were in this stadium, We didn't lose a game from that point out. And through the regular season this year, they held true to us as well. So I think that was the way that we kind of turned it around and made it to the SEC championship.
How tough was that stretch? You have Georgia, then you have Alabama, and then you have another game with Georgia again. How tough was that 3-game stretch, and then what did kind of Gus Malzahn prepare you guys for that?
I mean, one of the hardest parts about that stretch was that we didn't play Georgia and Alabama back to back. We played Louisiana and Raw in between. So one thing that's kind of difficult is knowing that you have such a big game coming up, and also preparing for the game that you still have to play. So that was one of the things that made it more difficult. But as far as just playing different teams, you don't really think about it as much. Just because you have to replay an opponent, or because you play a high caliber opponent, you try to perform the same way regardless.
Was the preparation for the Georgia game the second time different from the first? Did you guys kind of?
Yeah, we knew we had to change some things. It was something that you knew the coaches were going to do regardless, because they're not going to come back with the same attack. So yeah, we prepared the same throughout the week, but they changed some stuff.
What does it mean to be a 4-year starter in the SEC, where the line is kind of the hardest place to get?
Yeah, man. I take it as an accomplishment. Hopefully this year I can have 13 starts and get to 50. I don't know a lot of people that does that, and hopefully I can also get that opportunity.
Talk about what you're working on, getting better at as fifth-year senior.
The same thing as always. Same thing I always say. Pass rushing, different stuff like that. Footwork, just normal football stuff. It's not a thing that I'm trying to add anything to my game. It's polishing. You know what I mean? Trying to improve slightly that way. You know what I mean? Like polishing my game instead of so what you can get.
How good of a group can you guys have on your front four this season?
I feel like we have a pretty good group. I feel like we earn the respect of our opponents. I feel like they acknowledge us, and I just feel like we already do have a pretty decent group up front. It's just about playing well together and making sure that we move forward. That's the only thing progressive with our talents, and like I say, in college.
Big picture on the defense. How can you guys be compared to last year?
The thing is, we steadily improved every year that Coach Steele has been here, and ever since I walked into a starting position, we've always steadily improved. And that's the only thing that you can hope for moving forward with any profession or anything that you do is just, but move forward in that aspect. Just make sure that you're progressing.
Football and tailgating seem to go hand in hand. If you could have your ultimate tailgate, food, games, music, what would that look like?
Hot wings, nachos, pizza, and milkshakes. Ultimate tailgate snack. Food, I guess. No, me, I don't care about food.
Gus says, says you're a very unselfish player. What about your game kind of leads toward that kind of description?
I mean, I don't think there's anything in my game that kind of says I'm unselfish. I just feel like when you're asked to do a task, the unselfish part comes from being willing to do that task, even though it isn't necessarily the one that will get the most praise from it. So that's where I can see people saying that I'm unselfish, but I'm just trying to help this team. So it is what it is.
What are your early impressions on Joey Gatewood?
Joey Gatewood? I don't really see him in practice, honestly. They do 7-on-7 most of the time, and we can't interact with the quarterbacks anyway in practice, so I can't really tell you. Yeah, that's more of a Coach Malzahn question.
Okay, I think there's probably an obvious answer here, but maybe an unobvious answer too. But who do Auburn players consider their top rivals in the SEC?
Who does who?
Auburn players. Who do you guys consider your top rivals in the SEC?
Georgia and Alabama. Those are two rivalry games.
Which one's on top?
It's Georgia and Alabama. Both.
So Georgia first, then Alabama?
Alabama and Georgia, Georgia and Alabama.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one.
How tough was it playing Georgia twice in that limited time frame? Did they get your best game both times, did you feel like?
Man, going into the end, like I said earlier, I feel like the way that we can improve as a defense and as a team is handling adverse situations. And towards the end of that Georgia game, we faced those situations. Being that Carry-On was out, it was something that we didn't respond as well to. So it was a situation where we have to find a way to respond better in those situations so that we can be successful in those.